love Chow Yun-Fat's Tequila. I love Tony Leung. I loved Alan. I love Mad Dog. Mad Dog's one of the most insane villains you'll ever have. And just the gunfights in this movie, the motorcycle fights, the fight at the hospital at the end, the stylistic gun work. You watch Desperado. You watch pretty much any gun movie now. And that gun work, that gung fu that they did is
influenced off of.
And I'm not just picking this because of influential. I mean, this is a balls to the walls action movie. It's bonkers. So I was watching it again for this episode, and I just couldn't stop. But, he triumphant with the baby, blowing people. It's thrilling. It's influential. And you go down this list, and you will see a lot of these movies wanted to be hard-boiled. And just the cool that they had to it. So I think at 92, they hadn't established the cool killers yet, had they? Like, the 80s had more Schwarzenegger blowing people up.
Yeah,
Stallone.
It was more over-the-top.
Yeah.
Rambo stuff.
These are dudes looking awesome.
Yeah.
Murdering people. Like Blade, even.
Like suave.
Yeah, it's just, so Hard-Boiled's there. 4 for me is Drunken Master 2.
Okay.
Now, that came out, was released here in 1994, directed by Chia Luang Lu, and also co-directed by Jackie Chan. This movie, the final battle scene with the flaming hot metal sticks that are lighting the wood on fire. I don't know if you've seen it recently.
No, this movie I actually have not seen.
So type in Drunken Master 2 Final Fight, and they have a fight where they're throwing metal rods at Jackie Chan, right? Hitting him in the shin. He's going, oh! But every time the metal hits a piece of wood, the wood lights up. It's this inventive, non-stop. He fights an axe gang. Like, it's the choreography in this movie and the humor, and it's like a ballet of violence. So for me, this movie is my favorite Jackie Chan film. And I just think you watch The Raid now. Action movies had come out prior. He had done action movies that were like this before. But the scale of the fight scenes in this movie, you'll blow your mind. Like, you'll blow your mind. And so my fifth one in tier 1, this was my toughest one. So I originally had a movie, but I ran a poll yesterday on Movies, Films, and Flicks. And the winner ran away with it. Like, ran away. And I was really surprised by that. But it was True Lies. So True Lies won our tournament, and then True Lies won yesterday when I pitted it up against another movie.
Oh, I know. Okay.
So
I know what that is.
I think, and I'm kind of happy it won too, because it's 2 James Cameron movies, obviously. But the movie that was up against in tier 2 could kind of be called something Die Hard on a something, right? Stylish villain. This True Lies. So I was talking about it with my wife, and I was like, which one do you like? And she goes, True Lies. And I'm like, what? She's like, I love the thing with Jamie Lee Curtis. I love their relationship. I love the journey they go on. And then she started talking, she started laughing about the airplane, you're fired, that kind of stuff. But this movie, I'm not letting you talk, my bad. This movie, it's fun, it's big, it's smart, it's like sexy, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say it's definitely all of those. I mean, it's got, the action is big, but it's not over the top, ridiculous big. It's believable. And I think that's what gets me is my action movies, I either want them big and silly where they're not taking themselves seriously, or if they are, I want it done smart.
Yeah.
And smooth. And that's exactly what this is. Like everything. And I keep talking about like nowadays, but like this movie even holds up nowadays. Like the VFX look great in it still. Everything with the Harrier jet. The humor is fun.
He's on the horse. John Wick 3. They wanted to do that.
Yep.
I mean, so John Wick 3's paying homage to it. And I love the Jamie Lee Curtis angle. I loved he's on a jet rescuing his daughter. And I love the truth serum bit.
And it's so, even that jet, the whole jet sequence there at the end of it is over the top, but it's still grounded. Like you can still see that happening. The chances of survival are incredibly low, but you can still see Schwarzenegger pulling that off.
And I think this movie gave Tom Arnold a career for many years.
Yeah, he was riding off of True Lies.
Because he was good in True Lies.
Now he's sending birthday wishes via Facebook to Iowa boys.
Yeah. So I think that's my top 5. Tier 1 is Terminator 2, True Lies, Hard Boiled, The Matrix, and Drunken Master 2. Which you can disagree with, but you also can't say this is you can't say any of these movies are crap.
No, it's a solid tier 1. I think my biggest thing is I haven't seen Drunken Master. So because of that, I feel like probably what's at the top of your tier 2 is probably what I would slide into this, but we'll find out here in a few minutes when we get to that.
Yeah.
But right now, no, I think your tier 1 is very solid, and I'm a little disappointed that I can't argue with you more on this. But we'll see what you've got going on down below. I can be easily persuaded by my own thoughts, especially when Bruce Willis gets involved.
Now, are you saying that you're angry that you couldn't get angry?
Yes. So now I'm starting to get angry because of that.
All right, tier 2. I might have stretched on this one, but this is another of my favorite. This is in my top 3 of 1990s action films, and that's Point Break. Catherine Bigelow.
Yep.
She got her, she sharpened her teeth on Near Dark, which is one of my favorite vampire movies. This movie, if you look at the Blu-ray box for it, or the reviews for it, they're like skydiving, football, robberies, surfing, gunfights, fistfights. This movie, it holds up, and I don't think there's been a more likable antagonist than Patrick Swayze, Bodhi.
Because I think everybody relates to him.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be Bodhi if they could actually make that break in life.
Vin Diesel wanted to be Bodhi.
Not necessarily go and rob banks and end up killing people, but like how cool he is.
It's cool.
Yeah. Like you want to be around that guy.
And I think the addition of Keanu Reeves as a new type of action hero. So I talk about Keanu Reeves being a new type of action hero in Speed, right? New. But in 90, for Keanu, during the heyday of Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Lundgren, JCVD, Chuck Norris, you know,
all guys that are big and jacked and ripped and know martial arts.
Exactly. And
or they can knock you out with one punch.
Larger than life. So in Hong Kong, they definitely had these heroes, but Keanu was new on our shores in 90. And so watching him fist fight, Keanu's a great action star. And I think this movie, Gary Busey was great in the 90s, dude. He was in some of the best 90s action movies, for sure. But I liked him as a mentor. I liked Keanu in this. He jumps out of an airplane and catches Patrick Swayze while they're going down. No parachute. Yeah, no parachute. The football scene where he tackles him 80 yards out of the way, which is insane. But just
Johnny Utah.
Have you caught anything lately? I caught a sweet tube this morning. Right? It's tier 2. For sure.
Man, see, I don't...
Would you put it tier 2?
No, and I think that's just my issue is limiting it to 5.
Yeah.
In the tiers. We can get into this later, but it's I feel like Point Break is tier 1. It's so good. It's so raw and gritty.
I think that's right. And that's what Bigelow...
intense.
That's what Bigelow excels at. Where you watch Hurt Locker, right? Or Zero Dark 30, or Near Dark, or Point Break, Detroit. Well, let's leave out K-19. I don't think she knows how to tell a glossy picture. Her movies, you feel the grime. Near Dark, and you feel the sweat. This movie, you feel the surfing. You feel when you're out there, when they're surfing together, when they give their high fives in the air, you are so happy. This movie, you feel. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But
it's good.
That's why I created 5, because there's some drama, right? If I did 50 in each, it would be the most boring podcast ever. So, but that's it. So my next one is Speed. I had this in tier 1 for the longest time, because it's 3 action movies in one. I love the dynamic of Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves. I think Dennis Hopper's villain is excellent. They blew up.
He's one of the great villains, in my opinion.
I like his story. I like what he does. And this movie, I would retire if I wrote this script. I would just say a bus can't go under 50 miles an hour in LA traffic. That's awesome. That's fun. And you like the characters. You like the people on the bus. At the end, they're on the train. He loses his head.
And I think that's part of it that gets overlooked is people forget the whole elevator sequence in the beginning, and they forget the train at the end of it. It's 3 incredible action set pieces that take up this entire movie. And I mean, obviously, it's all based off of Speed being on the bus. But I think the elevator scene holds up just as well as the entire hour and a half on a bus.
Could have been a movie. And
it's just so inventive.
And Sandra Bullock I don't think she's ever been more likable. I know this is 94 and we're bringing this up, but I love that she just drove the bus. She crushed it. You never see characters like that. Remember, damsel in distress, or, someone gets kidnapped and then you gotta go rescue her. She just, she did get kidnapped, but that makes sense. But I love that dynamic between them. They felt so natural together.
They had a good chemistry.
And Keanu's, very introspective in it. He's very thoughtful. He thinks through the situations. He gets on the bus, doesn't know what to do. I think that's a really cool character in my mind. He gets on that bus and then it's just You know what else? You're on the journey with them in Speed. So many movies you feel like you're ahead of. When you're in Speed, you're in that bus with them. You're trying to figure it out as they are. And that's what's fun,
It had a good ensemble cast, too.
Yeah. Alan Ruck.
I mean, again, like we mentioned Dennis Hopper, but Alan Ruck, Joe Morton, Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
I mean, those are all characters that you like and you enjoy.
And the people on the bus, I don't know their names, but I see all their faces. I like all of them. It's a very good action movie.
It's such a good score,
and it was in tier 1 until this morning. True Lies won the tournament, and True Lies won on my poll that I put up. Now, do you think a lot of people call Speed is Die Hard on a bus? Because it has the villain, the over the top villain. They're stuck in a place. It's a different idea, but I think that's maybe why True Lies would go above it.
I think it's similar, but I don't know if I'd necessarily agree with that.
It's a stretch.
Because they're not stuck in one location. They're stuck in a vessel.
Yeah.
But they're not stuck in one location. They're driving all over the city. Plus they're going into, elevators and trains and
that massive
trains.
Jump scene.
Yeah.
They jump the bus.
Scenes, they jump the bridge. The bridge is out. They gotta jump it. It's
man.
so fun. It's so good. So no, I don't think it's necessarily Die Hard on a bus, like Under Siege is Die Hard on a battleship.
Yeah.
I wouldn't quite,
really is.
I wouldn't quite take it that far.
And then Under Siege 2 is Die Hard on a train. Or
Yep.
Die Hard meets Speed on a train. Or Under Siege 2, yeah. Alright, so, the third one, which I don't know if you're gonna agree with, but The Fugitive. And I put this on here because you think about this movie and you think about the one-armed man. You think about him jumping out of that dam. That train crash in the beginning.
That train crash is so intense.
And then Tommy Lee Jones won an Oscar. So Tommy Lee Jones won an Oscar for an action movie, which never happens.
And he's a protagonist.
Yeah, protagonist.
I mean, it's a good guy versus a good guy for most of that movie.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
I don't care. That's right. And then he jumps out of the dam.
Like, this movie...
He's doing his job.
This movie, I feel like, could get lost in the shuffle, but it's an Oscar-winning... It's almost a prestige action film. It was directed by Andrew Davis, who made Under Siege. But this is a case of Harrison Ford being one of the biggest action stars on the planet. I didn't put Clear and Present Danger in here. I think Clear and Present Danger has amazing action scenes, but it's more about... it's more thriller-y to me. But this movie... It's just nonstop. It just keeps going, keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. And at the end, the action scene against the one-armed man, it's...
Yeah, I think this is also one of those... Personally, for me, it's more action thriller than just pure action, like some of the other movies. So Fugitive is one of my all-time favorite movies. And if I made a separate tier for thrillers, I think it would be in a tier 1.
Yeah.
For just thrills. But for action movies, if you're going to try to group it in with that as well... I think it's got to be tier 2 where you have it.
You're so mad. You're so angry right now.
I can't disagree with that one. I'm angry over Speed. I think Speed should be tier 1.
So the next one's Super Cop or Police Story 396. Now, the reason this is in here because it's Jackie Chan, Michelle Yeoh, just crushing folks on her work on motorcycles. They're hanging from cars. They're on trains. They're on boats. They're fist fighting. I mean, this is Jackie Chan. I prefer Drunken Master 2 because of its massive, fist fights. But as an action movie that never stops with some of the most impressive stunts in it, Stanley Tong directed it. He also did First Strike, Rumble in the Bronx. Action legend. This movie, though, what I like about it is it just doesn't stop. It's just Michelle Yeoh and Jackie Chan wiping people out. And I don't know if you've seen it, but just...
I haven't.
Jumping off motorcycles to land on top of cars. Jumping off of motorcycles to land on trains. Jackie Chan standing on top of a train fighting people. It's just a bonanza of action. Action explosion. So that's why I got that there.
Okay.
My last one's Fists of Legend, which was number 1 in tier 1, but I switched it with Drunken Master. So it's a remake of Bruce Lee's Fists of Fury, directed by Gordon Chan. But the choreographer, Yun Woo Ping, he went on to do The Matrix. And you watch the fighting in this movie that Jet Li does. So, he's fighting a bunch of Japanese who are over there. And the choreography is brilliant. This is a 94 movie. I had never seen fighting. In 94, we had Drunken Master 2, and we had Fist of Legend, which I think have some of the best fight choreography ever. And just watching these guys compete at fight and dance and the camera work. The way the camera work moved around these fight scenes, you'll see this in so many other movies. But I had to have, you can't have tier 1, tier 2 action movies without Jackie Chan or Jet Li.
Yeah.
Because their movies were sick in the 90s.
I think that's admittedly part of my problem too, is especially growing up in the 90s in the height of the action, I was definitely more involved with the Americana movies.
Yeah.
And so that's part of my problem that I've never solved as well. And I'm going to note that, and I need to go back and watch some of these.
Because we couldn't really rent them. Like, Blockbuster maybe had a couple copies. And the only reason I got into